Hello everyone and welcome back to WesterosCraft Walks. I'm your host Kobe.
And I'm Lucia.
And today we are having a look at House Yelshire of Yelshire. Yes, it is one of those houses where we have not really any information. We have semi-canon information about their sigil, and it is a gold and green striped banner with a battering ram on, which also has a ram's head.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, their words aren't known, and no one from the house is talked about in any of the books. And
also, even their location isn't known.
Yes.
So this, the location where we are right now in our world, it's north of Pommingham, where we were last time, and it is to the west, to the east of Old Town, which hasn't been built yet, and to the south of Uplands. And we put it here because this was an area that was just open, which didn't have like a house allocated to it. And Yelshire was a house that didn't have any location on any canon maps, so that's why we put it here.
It's great. But yeah, I mean, that is quite an interesting thing. Interesting for me is it good if there's not a lot of information, because then you get to be quite creatively free, or does it make it more difficult? You know, would you struggle and
Yeah.
I think it's fun because it lets you, like we did on the server, kind of put it kind of wherever you want. Like, we know it's in the Reach, so there's that, but apart from that there's no specific area, as Kobe said. So it lets you take off and play off the areas around it style wise, but then also you're not limited to like other castles, like the Red Keep, for instance, where pretty much a lot. It's described what it looks like, where it can be helpful, where you know what to follow, but then at the same time it can be quite restrictive. It doesn't let you have the freedom. But there are plenty of castles on the server where you can have your freedom flow.
Yeah, but this one actually turned out really well, I thought, because I knew the project was going on. Because at one point we kind of did an application for this, but we didn't end up going for it in the end. But I think it's Andy Jones that built this one, and he did a really good job. You can see the castle from there, but also the surrounding lands. It's very nice with this little valley we crossed, and at the beginning that was just a little holdfast. Over here we're coming to an inn at some of the crossroads. This one goes deeper into the valley. We will just have a little sneak peek in there, because there's a vineyard, which we will have a look at from a distance. It is kind of over the hill, so you don't really see it that well, but you can kind of see the house of the vineyard. I also, what are those trees called? Are these
cypress trees?
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I really like those as well.
I like the tall.
Yeah, there's that
tall
vineyard.
trees.
Tall trees, yeah. And there's a castle again where we are heading to. First we will have a look in the inn, actually, but here you also get a good view of that valley. Yeah, so this project was completed in 2017, so it's not as old as some of the other projects that are in this world, but I'd say it's kind of in the middle age-wise, like.
Yeah, but there are some builds we have on the server, like Riverrun, for instance, that are really old.
Exactly. I think the oldest on this world go to maybe end 2013 or 2014, because before that we had an older world, and now we switched to this one. The older world, as you might have seen in our really long episode, was it the 100th episode, I believe? I think that we did like a 3-hour long video, and that was a hard one, where we compared the old world and new world.
If we ramble in these videos, go watch that. It's like, and there's trees, and the trees, they have emotions, and the emotions behind the trees.
Yeah, but I really like those cypress ones that line the roads here. Also, as you we'll see in a moment, this is kind of the transition zone where we go from the southern reach to the more central reach, as you might see from the path there. It will darken as we cross this little bridge with the stream.
Like right here it changes.
Right here, yeah. Did you see it?
But another interesting development, apart from the fact that the path has changed, is that previously on the server and in our videos, we had a rule where we only talked about the first season and the first book. However, this has actually recently changed, so now we actually get to talk about everything. So until, whenever Winds of Winter comes out, if he makes it that long, we can talk about information from that book.
That's honestly cheap.
I mean,
George will never die.
Yeah, George will never die. I'll just turn into a dragon. But yeah, so that means now we can start having a lot more information in our videos. And when I found out about this change, I joked that with Kobe that we should just go back and redo some of our old videos, because there's been some videos where houses have had so much information on them, but it doesn't come out until
the later books,
like Feast for Crows.
Yeah.
And it's like we just can't talk about it, so it'd be really hard to see people be like, we want more information. It's like, I want to give you this information, but we can't. But now we can, so get ready for the next video, because that house has, not like the most information in the world, but a lot more than Yelshire, which has literally no information.
Almost none.
I was like looking into it, and I was like, wait, what? No, okay, I'll try here. Wait, what? Really? Like words not known. I was like, great.
Yeah, so that was the blacksmith here. This is also quite something that I like. It's an open sceptre. You don't. I haven't seen many of those around.
I've seen ones before. It doesn't mean they don't exist. Just means I haven't seen one.
But yeah, it's nice. And also the castle. You'll see when we get into it. It's quite a nice one. I quite like the layout of it and how it was designed. Because it has, especially here in the gatehouses, it's very defensive. You got, the cliffs already form a form of defense and give you a nice view. But here you have like the first gatehouse with already a portcullis. Then you have this little walk over here. Also difficult to get like battering rams up to. Then we have like the second gatehouse here, which has multiple portcullises as well as murder holes.
But are there any matriculations?
I think
they're
that's hard to do
without having
Minecraft,
the house, like the overhang, be ridiculous.
But yeah, here we have the entrance courtyard. We are gonna go down in the basement where they have the storage. Here's a big barrel of beer or wine. Probably wine when we're down here in the south. But this leads to the kitchen as well. And I quite like the layout of this castle as well, because you'll see later as well, kind of the rooms are all connected in a good way, I think. This is the dining hall. Not as big as some houses, but it is a small house.
I like the walls. It's simple, but pretty.
And look at those banners. That's a nice detail. Coincidentally, also the same colors as House Tyrell of Highgarden. Over here we have inside that fortified gate. Also kind of the barracks, I suppose.
But a nice little detail as well, they've used the yellow roses, which again, a little nod to the only piece of information we have on the house.
Banners as well. Yeah, this is quite a nice tower. I believe this is also where the Lord resides, which we will see later on. But first we will go over this little connective bridge here that connects the tower in the middle. I guess you'd call it a dungeon.
Donjon?
Yeah, dungeon.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say dungeon. I was like...
Well, that's where the word dungeon comes from. That's where it originates from. But the dungeon in a castle would be like kind of a standalone tower. That would be the biggest tower in the castle. It's
a Mimi big boy.
Yeah.
But that banner actually is the banner for the Tyrells. But then the colour scheme also flows into here, and the Tyrells would be the overall. So they're like, we love you.
Yes.
But your colour system also kind of works for us. So.
Yeah, here we also have some, I suppose, rooms for the important people.
No, because they'd also have to have a room for their overlord, but then also for the king as well.
I guess.
But that's actually a practice that is. I know they probably had it in other countries as well, but it was common in England that mansions and flying toilets would have where in castles and grand stately homes, they'd have to have a room specially dedicated to the king or queen. So if they came to visit, it would be like a pre-room made just for them, so they'd just have to like change the bedding so it would be fresh. So they always had to have one ready just in case, because the king would be like, hey, I'm just gonna come to your house in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, ah.
And as you can see here, a handy way to get up to the roof in case of any repairs.
Or any evil crows.
Oh yeah, and I like this. Look, you can get up the raft. No, this is like a really good detail, I think. Cause...
Yes, I know, but... See, look, that's why.
No, I really like that detail. Like that's.
See, in real life, makes my feet. Even in like video games, I don't even like heights. It makes me have like pins and needles.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Here is a little septry and also the audience chamber, in case the people want to speak to the Lord. Guess that was his office.
But I think the real question that everyone's wondering is, if you have a tree in the septry, do you call it a septry tree? Thanks.
Good question.
That's why they keep me around for the hard-hitting questions.
We're going back to that the dungeon, the main tower in the middle here. As you can see, more kind of smaller rooms. As we go to the top, you get the main room in there. I believe this would be the Lord's room, or that big room we were in earlier could also be the Lord's room. But yeah, quite a nice large one over here, overlooking the village, keeping an eye on those naughty peasants. And at the top we have like storage area, and you have this what is called like a winch that you can pull, like a pulley system. Get supplies up here.
See, the trick is, if he was cool, he could just ride it up and down. If that was his bedroom.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That doesn't make me think, if it was his bedroom, why would they have a storage room directly above?
Yeah,
it might be quite loud.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So that's why I said like maybe that's
and if
the
they
one.
keep the snacks there,
Yeah.
so they can pull the salami.
Or maybe one of those rooms could be specially for the lords if they come to visit, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two rooms that we visited were the main big ones. They also have a small garden here with some fruit, I believe, was hanging there. Or was it roses? Probably roses.
I mean, anything's edible.
Yeah,
even if it's poisonous, it's edible. You can eat most things. You just shouldn't.
And now we are almost at the end of the video. We're just climbing this tower to go to the Rookery and the Maesters' quarters.
Ah!
Exactly. So this is connected to the Maesters' room over here. So that was it for this episode. You have anything else to add, Lucia?
Ladybugs are our friends too.
Okay, and with that statement, we will end the video. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more WesterosCraft walks, you can find the link to the playlist on screen right now. Or if you're interested in history, you can also check out my personal channel, which will also be linked on screen. Plug, yes. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.